Raiders finally get their guy. They did not trade up. They did not trade back. They stayed pat at number 6 and got the guy that has been mocked to them for over 1 million times during the offseason. Ashton Jeanty, you are a Las Vegas Raider.
Hey, I'm fired up. I was texting him last night, I didn't know if he was going to get drafted or not, but we manifested. He's with us. He's an absolute dog, man. We can't wait to, get to work. That's a good legendary.
Hopefully we make some calls if he's legendary in the second round.
Never know. Never know.
He's a quintessential running back. He has all the tools. He can catch, he can run, he has great balance, he has great vision, he has speed. So I'm looking forward to really an explosive offense. Some young talent out there, which is really nice to see.
What's up, Raidernation? Y'all getting the dog. I'm ready to go to work. And let's win, baby.
Yo, what is up, Raidernation? It's your boy, Samoa Raider, back with another video. And man, oh man, the Raiders finally made a move that didn't surprise the Raider Nation. And you know what? Just for that, I can't be too mad about this. If this is the very first time you guys are coming across this channel and you love Raiders content, man, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. Quick disclaimer though, I just want to let a lot of people know out there, and I feel like I kind of need to address this real quick. I know, and I can admit to you, Ashton Jeanty wasn't my #1 guy going into the NFL draft, especially getting him at number 6, because I wanted to get guys like Tetairoa McMillan or even Shedeur Sanders. But never have I said that Ashton Jeanty was a bad player. I've always stated that he was the #1 running back in this year's class. I just felt like we could have addressed the position a little bit later, but I can't be mad at the decision. I'm not going to hate on the decision. At the end of the day, the Raiders got the player that they want, and they ended up getting the #1 running back. And for the Raiders, with the need that we had at the running back position, they wanted to go out and get the best, and they sure did. Obviously, the Raiders didn't want to pass up on talent. With that said, though, like I said before, I just love the fact that the Raiders, for once, did not pick somebody that we did not expect at all. Ashton Jeanty was a guy that almost everybody in the Raider Nation really wanted to get at number 6, and the fact that they went out and did that, kudos to the Raiders. They kept it simple and got the best player on their board. That also was a need for the team. I'm just happy that the Raiders didn't go out there and get an offensive lineman. As important as it is to get an offensive lineman, I'd rather have gotten Shedeur, Tet, or Jeanty over getting an offensive lineman, even some defensive players on the board. But looking at how the draft kind of panned out, there's still a lot of great talent in the second round. But before I get into that, I want to give a shout out to the Raiders, shout out to Woods and Whiskey. Yesterday, I was at the Raiders official draft party the whole day, got to catch a lot of vibes, interview a lot of fans, get everybody's reaction. I even got to link up with Max Crosby later on in the night and get his reaction to the pick that the Raiders had. And I would say the majority of the nation is really excited about this move and really excited to see what the Raiders can do, especially with this new regime. And one thing that really gets me hyped up is just the fact that seeing Ashton Jeanty get selected by the Raiders and seeing how happy he was to join the silver and black. You just seen him going down the aisle, just excited, just screaming Raiders, and just his whole demeanor just looks like he's just happy to be not only in the NFL, but just looking forward to playing in front of the Raider Nation and the Black Coat. And this just really feels like one of those key pieces that is going to start building this new regime, this new franchise, this new culture here in Las Vegas. At the end of the day, though, Raider Nation, Ashton Jeanty is a Raider. And no matter what I said before this, even though he wasn't my top guy, I'm going to support him just for the mere fact that he's going to be donning the silver and black. The same way I supported Khalil Mack, the same way I supported Amari Cooper, Carl Joseph, Alex Leatherwood, Henry Ruggs, heck, even Cleveland Farrell. Now, interestingly enough, coming out of this, since he was drafted in the top 10 as a running back, he's coming into the league already as the second highest paid running back in the league, getting a fully guaranteed $31.8 million. Ah, damn, man, he get a lot of money, but at the end of the day, as long as he can live up to the money that he's getting, man, then it'd be all worth it. One thing's for sure, though, this new regime ain't playing around.
Yeah, I hope people could see on the TV screens that the Raiders scouts and the coaches and everybody were super fired up to get Ashton Jeanty, just a player that we've been targeting for a while here, and just a great kid that can really run the football, and excited to bring him to Vegas and be a part of Raider Nation. It made a lot of sense at a position that we need, that we really value in Coach Carroll's system and Chip's system. He's going to be a foundational piece for us, and he's going to chew up a lot of yards and score a lot of touchdowns is the hope.
He was hard to tackle. I mean, you guys couldn't get him on the ground. And, I compared him with a lot of players in the past, that skill to make people miss and to bounce off tackles and to use the force of the tacklers He had marvelous talent in that regard, and that he reminded me, and I'm not going to share him with you because I don't want to compare, but with a number of players that we've watched over the years and going back quite a ways, I thought he was that unique.
He's a physical runner, but he's a dynamic runner. We just kind of fell in love with his story and his love affair with football.
I will say that the great thing about this pick is the fact that Ashton Jeanty is going to be coming into this team and coming into the league as an immediate impact player for the team right away. I know that I wanted to get a quarterback and he would have had to sit down for a year until he was ready, but looking at the team right now, we already got our quarterback in place. We got Geno Smith, right? Having a guy like Ashton Jeanty in the backfield only helps the quarterback that much more, especially for Geno Smith. And also pairing him up with another elite talent on the offensive side with Brock Bowers will go so far for this offense in the future. I feel like the Raiders right now just need to address the offensive line sometime in this draft, especially at the right tackle position and right guard position, depending on who they pick, and they'll be good. Jeanty is a proven back and had really great production in college. And on top of that, Pete Carroll gets his version of beast mode here in Las Vegas. I mean, Ashton Jeanty has been getting a lot of comparisons to Marshawn Lynch, and rightfully so. The way he runs the ball, the way he's able to move around and break tackles, stiff arm, catch out of the backfield, and just his demeanor just reminds us so much of beast mode. And if we could get somewhat of that over here in Las Vegas, I think this offense is going to be running wild. And funny enough, Pete Carroll did kind of address the Jeanty to Marshawn Lynch comparisons as well.
Well, I'm glad you brought him up because he'd been calling all evening here about it. He's pretty fired up about it. And, there's nobody loves the whole running game more than he does. And the style, the guys that have style is something that's really special to Marshawn, I know. There is similarities in that his ability to make plays when it doesn't look like there's anything there. Marshawn did that, throughout his career, and he found a physical way to, kind of bank off of people and bounce and just keep alive. And Ashton really is a player that shows that kind of style. That's one of the aspects of his style, his burst and all of the other things he does as well, complement. But there's a special makeup in there in Ashton in particular.
I guess another funny thing that I had kind of thought about after selecting Ashton Jeanty is the fact that I know that John Spytek's son is probably happy that we got Ashton Jeanty. I mean, he already told his dad that if they don't get him, then they're not doing a good job. So, hey, at the end of the day, we got the guy that they wanted. This is the guy that I feel like the Raider Nation is happy with, and it only makes me more excited to see what the Raiders will do later on today and even tomorrow. Ashton Jeanty did make it clear a couple of weeks ago when he posted this and gave a message to all 32 teams in the NFL saying, I've taken the long way. I'm done with that way. If you pick me, it's simple. I'm coming to your franchise to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. I'm coming to win big soon. It's tackle football. You know what I'm saying? I draft the guy they can't tackle. Thank you for your time, Ashton Jeanty. And this does get me fired up because I love the confidence that he has going into the NFL and for any team that he decides to go to or decides to pick him, and knowing that the Raiders were the team to get him and to see the fire that he has to come into the league and just prove what he can do, especially prove that, the running back position is really important. It's just a couple of years ago, running backs were getting overlooked, but just after last year to see what Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, heck, even Saquon Barkley was able to do to help their teams elevate, goes to show how important this position is. And I don't think there was another running back that has been taken in the top 10 outside of Saquon Barkley in recent years. So I do hope that, the Raiders start winning soon. And hopefully most of that is because Ashton Jeanty is over here. And if he can replicate what he did in college in Las Vegas, I'm sure everybody will be happy with this pick. Kind of like how everybody was happy about Brock Bowers after a couple of games last year. But I just hope most of this turns into wins. Now, with that being said, though, looking at how the draft panned out for the NFL, especially in the first round, going into the second round, like always, there's going to be players that are available that should have been picked in the first round. And for the Raiders, sitting there with the 5th pick in the second round, man, there is so many options. And funny enough, ironically enough, Shedeur Sanders is still sitting there in the second round. Now, I know that the Browns got 2 second-round picks right before us at 1 and 4. And there's a possibility that they could get him. But if the Raiders some way, somehow is able to get Shedeur Sanders in the second round, oh my goodness. This would be a win for the Raiders. And I think this would be probably the best draft that the Raiders have had since 2014. Kind of like when Derek Carr dropped to the second round and the Raiders were able to get him. So for me to see Shedeur Sanders there, and he's a guy that I wanted at number 6, I know he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, and it doesn't matter where you get drafted. I know a lot of people are making fun of Shedeur Sanders, but if the Raiders can some way come out of this draft with Ashton Jeanty and Shedeur Sanders, oh my God. I don't care what they do for the rest of the draft. I'd be super, super happy. But if some way, somehow, the Browns do select Shedeur Sanders with one of those 2 second-round picks, then there's still Jalen Monroe. He's another guy that I've been high on, and he's a raw athlete. He's a guy that can sit for a couple of years, and he has the highest ceiling in this year's class. Also, he does have the lowest floor, but if the Raiders can come out with one of these 2 quarterbacks in the second round, I'd be totally happy with the draft so far. Those are probably my 2 favorite options in the second round. On top of that, Will Johnson, who easily should have been a top 10 pick, but I feel like there's a lot of concerns about his injuries, and maybe he'll fall past the second round. Who knows? Maybe to the third round. If we could come out of this draft with Will Johnson, kind of reminds me of Maurice Hurst years ago when he should have been a first-round pick, and he started dropping because there was some concerns about his health and everything. But he ended up being a really great player for the Raiders for a couple of years, and he's been a solid defensive lineman for years to come. So if the same can happen for Will Johnson and we get him at a great discount, I'd be happy with that. Will Johnson, you got other cornerbacks if you don't want to get Will Johnson. You got Trey Amos, you got Siobhan Revel. Then if you want to go to the wide receiver position, Luther Burden is still sitting there. You still got Trey Harris, of course, Jaden Higgins, Nick Emanwari is still sitting there. You got defensive end Mike Green, or if you want to get a defensive tackle, man, of course, hey, look at the O's, JT Tuimoloau. Overall, the Raiders have 2 picks today, 1 in the second round, 1 in the third round, and there's going to be a lot of great options there. Who knows if the Raiders move around? And I don't know where they're going to pick, but no matter what, I'm just excited to see what this team is going to do moving forward. But Raider Nation, who would you guys want in the second round? I know it's going to be coming up today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But so far, I'm happy with our pick, man. I'm happy to see what this new regime is doing over here. I love the fact that they did not surprise us with a random second or third round player. The future is definitely bright for the Raiders, and I do believe this is the year that the Raiders go to the playoffs and we make a huge run this year. So with that said, overall, let me know your thoughts on Ashton Jeanty and who would you guys want on day 2. Let me know down in the comments below. Until the next video, this is your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is yeah.